Wow, we got a lot to cover in this video. Jagmeet Singh thinks he's somehow better than Pierre Poilievre and Justin Trudeau because he's showing up at picket lines for people that are on strike in Canada and calling on other politicians to do the same. Then you have Justin Trudeau bragging about, new trade deals with other countries while our Canadian dollar hits an all-time low. Our Canadian dollar is absolutely almost worthless compared to the American dollar. And we're going to look at the conversion rate because it's just like horrible. And then you've got pro-Palestine protesters are getting the shit kicked out of them and arrested by the police, which is like about time kind of thing. And then you've got India News taking more shots at Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh for their ties to terrorism, for picking up donations from terrorists, just a whole lot of new developments. One hell of an intro. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage y'all to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. It does tremendously help grow the channel. And if you haven't yet already, I'd like to encourage you guys to go over to the merch site link down below in the description or the pinned comment below and get yourself one of these stickers right here, just like the one on my microphone. It'll get a whole pack like this. Use code SUNSHINE for 15% off. You get only scams by the Liberals, Freeland on a broom, Trudeau must go, keep calm, never vote Liberal, and stop the WEF with Klaus Schwab crying. And without further ado, let's finally get into this video. Starting things off with Jagmeet Singh. So he takes to X saying right now over 55,000 postal workers are on strike, fighting for a fair deal and respect. The NDP stands with them, and we will fight tooth and nail to defend their right to free and fair collective bargaining. Their fight is our fight. My message to Justin Trudeau is clear. Stay out of this, which is nuts because you're a politician getting yourself involved, but you're saying the government shouldn't get involved. You are the government. It's kind of a weird hypocritical thing, but nonetheless, let's take a look.
So, New Democrats are here to stand in solidarity with these workers. We've got a clear message. We want these workers to be able to negotiate a fair deal.
That's right.
Have the right to strike.
That's right.
So our message to the Liberals is stay out of it.
That's right.
Don't interfere. Don't force binding arbitration, and certainly do not bring in back to work legislation. The workers are demanding fair wages and safe work conditions, and we support them.
That's right.
Every step of the way. I want to say something very clearly. If Justin Trudeau and the Liberals think they can bring in any back-to-work legislation, even if they make it a confidence vote, New Democrats will be voting against it. Yeah! These workers deserve to strike. They deserve to fight for fair wages, and we're going to back them up so they can do that every step of the way.
Hear, hear.
Solidarity! 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 Solidarity!
I get it. Jagmeet Singh wants to make sure that people have the right to protest and to go on strike. And I'm 100% with that. This is a very complex situation because Canada Post has a massive monopoly on just postal services here in this country. And we are heading into like the biggest boom. Most of the business with Canada Post is done literally right now until like the first week of January. And Jagmeet Singh is saying no government intervention, which I kind of agree in most situations. I'm not saying I disagree right now. I just think that Jagmeet Singh is trying to pander to people that are on strike, and it's a little gross. It's actually very predatorial for Jagmeet to use that opportunity to try and get more votes instead of saying, hey, for the betterment of the country, what can I do to help some form of a resolution so that you guys can get back to work and that everybody is happy and that just our economy is free flowing. Instead, Jagmeet is trying to go to a fire, pour a jerry can and watch the fire grow bigger and then say, haha, vote for me because I'm an arsonist, or in this case, I'm an asshole, is what Jagmeet's motto is. But that's my own personal opinion. I would absolutely love to know yours. And then we got to talk about this piece here. So Justin Trudeau took to X and posted a strong partnership and even stronger economies for Canadians and Indonesians alike. Today's trade deal means more business opportunities for exporters who want to sell to new markets, which, I mean, it is what it is. And then you see the top comment here is by the contrarian, who says the exchange on Canadian currency to U.S. purchases is $1.45. It seems to be a little off according to Google, but when you type in $1 USD to $1 Canadian, it's $1.41 conversion. So that's how much a $1 American gets you, is $1.41 Canadian, which is, again, bananas. That is horrible, because not too long ago, you actually had the Canadian dollar that was on par. But wait, there's more. The Canadian dollar is actually better than the American one. And likely a lot of you viewers remember that time in history where it was like, awesome. People that lived in Toronto or in Ottawa would oftentimes go and hop the border on weekends, like legally, right? They just travel across and go make a bunch of purchases and come back and like, woohoo, we got a great deal. And that's no longer the case. You want to do anything in America, even though prices are significantly cheaper than just stuff here in Canada, with now the dollar conversion, it's like, what is the point? I mean, our dollar is shite. And with different leadership, it could very well be a lot better. But again, we're not going to know until we finally have that election. And I'd love to know what you guys think about that. Do you think that a different government, a conservative government, could actually strengthen our dollar? Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. And then you've got this post here on X by Bratney that says, this guy literally irritates me more than Justin Trudeau. I agree with that. Trudeau is condescending and narcissistic, but Jagmeet is just straight up clown. He thinks people are stupid and genuinely thinks he is respected. And this is Jagmeet posting on X saying, he let you down. Justin Trudeau said he'd do one thing and then he did the exact opposite. Workers are the backbone of our country. You deserve a government that respects you for real, for realsies. And that's a response to Justin Trudeau's post saying the fact is unions are vital to promoting / protecting our middle class. Canadians deserve a government that works with unions instead of attacking them, which is crazy for Jagmeet Singh to reply to that, because all of these people that are on strike are a part of unions. Unions are the ones that are allowing the strike to happen. If it weren't for unions, there would likely not really be any strikes. Like they just get shut down, or people will get fired instantly, and there would be no union to help mediate the process. But anyways, that's a different story for a different day. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Jagmeet Singh is quite literally the worst politician in Canada. Justin Trudeau was brought up in this. He was indoctrinated and groomed to be a politician, and he's a product of his parents and family's successful, I know he's not a successful politician, but the successful adaptation of bringing up little baby Trudeau in the political world, and now he's prime minister. So, like, obviously, what they had done, the grooming worked, I guess, by quite literal definition. Unfortunately, Jagmeet Singh chose this life. He wasn't born into this life. He chose this life, and he's choosing to hold 41 plus million Canadians hostage to a government that literally nobody wants. No other party wants his government to stay in power. 99% of the Canadians don't want this government to stay in power. And Jagmeet Singh is the only cockroach who is blocking an election from happening. But hey, you can try to pander on social media all you want, Jagmeet. Chances are you will never, not chances are, you will literally never be prime minister of this country. But now let's shift things over to a little bit more of a serious note. Leviathan on X says pro-Hamas loyalists in Calgary attempted to block the roads next to Harry Hayes Federal Building like they do in Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal. It did not quite work well as they thought, as mass arrests took place and fast. Let's take a look at this clip.
Brady, why are they arresting you?
Marty.
What's up, Bill Dizzy?
Okay, back over there, please. Back over there.
What did I say? On the other side of the bike. You don't.
Whoo-wee! Yeah, that's not working out the way they thought. And so it seems like maybe we might be dealing with a new shift where pro-Palestine protests are just not allowed to happen anymore. And I mean, it's been over a year. It's been over a year since they've been taking place, and they've just been growing more and more violent. I mean, even the other day in the news, which got absolutely buried, there was something that was published along the lines of somebody was going to go bomb a pro-Israel protest because that's what extremists end up doing at the end of the day, which is nuts, which is absolutely nuts. So, I mean, I don't like stopping the ability to protest. I firmly believe that protests should be there. You should be allowed to do it as long as they are remaining peaceful. But I mean, there's been so much vandalism, there's been so much violence. It's getting out of control. And obviously the police and the cities and the government is choosing to finally put an end to it. So that's like the facts. And I'd absolutely love to know what your guys' opinion is. Do you agree that they should be shut down, or do you disagree? And let me know why. And speaking of being shut down, mainstream media is now admitting, oh, wow, it looks like the data is showing that Pierre Poilievre is going to win a majority government. We all know this, but the actual Nanos guy, Nick Nanos himself, is finally admitting it.
I think this is a pretty good chance to look at the latest ballot tracking for where the party stands. So where are we now?
Well, we have the Conservatives with support of about 4 out of every 10 Canadians in the latest Nanos tracking 41%. Liberals back 16 points at 25, NDP at 19, so they're under 20, which is not good for them. Bloc at 9, Green Party at 4. What was happening before was a split between the Liberals and the New Democrats. It was like 22-22. Now the Liberals are ahead of the New Democrats outside of the margin of error. The Conservatives are still firmly in majority territory with 41% support. The Bloc are actually doing quite well in the province of Quebec. And, Pierre Poilievre still in the driver's seat when it comes to ballot preferences.
Nick, there's been a lot of questions over the past year about the future of Justin Trudeau as leader of the Liberal Party. We've seen a lot of MPs say that they will not seek re-election.
A lot.
You did a recent poll that touched on this for CTV News. What did you find out?
Well, what we found out in the new survey that we just released with CTV News was that it looks like there's no savior for the Liberal Party today, at least with what's on the menu. About 1 out of every 4 Canadians say none of the above. When we listed a whole swath of individuals, including current cabinet ministers like Mélanie Joly and Chrystia Freeland and Champagne and also in this particular case, we had Christy Clark in the mix, and we also had Mark Carney. Mark Carney does a little better than Chrystia Freeland, but if you look at the numbers, you can see there's Mark Carney, and then among those that pick someone that they say is appealing, and then tied for second is actually Chrystia Freeland and Justin Trudeau. Key takeaway here: no big savior for the Liberals at this particular point in time. When we look at who could be leading the party, including Justin Trudeau himself, or potential alternatives if the job became available.
Yeah, no, that's the most important thing right there, is that there is no savior for the Liberal Party. Like Justin Trudeau, I mean, I've said before that like even a juice box water bottle thingy could likely poll higher than Justin Trudeau, and I still do believe that. But no other Liberal has enough clout to be able to pull off a successful win or potentially even get more votes. I mean, a lot of people obviously hate Justin Trudeau, but would more people vote for, let's say, Freeland or Mark Carney than they would Justin Trudeau? I'm actually not really sure anymore. I once was under the impression that, a soccer ball, a goldfish, like any inanimate object or thing that just doesn't even matter, isn't even a real person, could get more votes than Justin Trudeau. But the Trudeau name does hold a lot of weight into people that are just desensitized from reality and they're plugged into the machine, the mainstream media machine, those people are still going to support Justin Trudeau, unfortunately, until some things start affecting them on a much deeper level than they currently are, such as maybe unaffordability. Who knows, right? But again, we're just going to have to wait and see how things work out. But Justin Trudeau's not doing good. And the fact that there is no savior, like runner up to lead the Liberal Party, tells me that we are in for a massive conservative landslide. And once that happens, I just don't see how Justin Trudeau is going to stay on as leader of the opposition for the Liberal Party. I think you're going to see Freeland. I think you're going to see Trudeau. You're going to see Jagmeet. Like a lot of people are just going to say, you know what? We're retiring, and it's going to be a whole bunch of new faces. And I think that that's going to be good in the long run, but we're going to have to wait and see how that plays out. And of course, I'd love to know your guys' opinion on that. And then to conclude things here, we're going to take a look at what the heck is going on with India News and why they are attacking Justin Trudeau. No end to Canadians' K sanction.
On that note, let me also introduce our esteemed panelists today. I'm joined in by Deepak Vora, who's a former diplomat, Major General A.K. Sivach, who's also a defense expert, Professor Brahma Chalani, a strategic affairs expert, and Terry Milewski, who's also a renowned author. Many thanks to you, gentlemen, for joining in. If I could, in fact, begin with Mr. Vora. Mr. Vora, the big question is, does Dalla's arrest mean that there are also possibility of an extradition, given we've already seen what Canada's approach to India has been of late?
Ma'am, it's always a pleasure to be on your amazing channel. You have such wonderful people whose knowledge is much more than mine. Yours is much more than mine. But thank you. I'm somewhere on the highway between Pune and Kolhapur. And you can imagine we have in India. I can see you, you can see me. Now, as far as this Harsh Dalla character is concerned, Harjeet Singh Gill, let me put it across to you very clearly. Chanakya, the great Indian strategist, had said 400 years ago, that the worst kind of leader is a liar. Worse than him is a liar who's also a hypocrite. Dustbin Trudeau is both, and I'll tell you why. Man, 4 years ago, when this COVID, the Chinese virus thing was ravaging the world, Canada very quietly sent home 2 Chinese scientists who had access to the highest security laboratory in Canada, where pathogens were being given gain of function, made more virulent. They were charged with crimes, and then very quietly, Shri Dustbin sent them back because the Chinese said, we'll beat you up if you do anything like that. Remember what he also did with the daughter of the Huawei chap. Now, as far as this Harsh Dalla is concerned, as long as he was committing crimes in India and wanted, Mr. Dustbin didn't care. But now what we have said, ma'am, and I say this very slowly so that all of those on the panel can understand, he has also been charged. He has also been charged, so I'm told, with crimes in some other countries, including Canada's southern neighbor and at least one nation in the Middle East. Now, when this pressure comes on Canada, I think Mr. Justin Trudeau will succumb. So it's not just a case of India, it's going to be combined pressure. And now he's trying to show the world that they're very tough on terrorism, they don't like this, etc. When he creates trouble in Canada, this man suddenly wakes up and says, oh, no, don't do it in my country, do it elsewhere. These kind of double standards, this hypocrisy, ma'am, is being exposed. And thank you, CNN News 18, for highlighting this issue. He is going to be sent back to India, period.
Terry, if I could bring you in, the manner in which the entire shooting episode happened on 28th of October, for which he's been arrested, that in itself is very fishy, because unlike claims that were being made by him that Lawrence Bishnoi is baying for his blood and that he's sending his own aides to kill him, here's somebody who's been shot by his own aide.
Yes, it's an alarming situation, and it's because it's so alarming that I think that this will become an important test case of whether Canada and India can get their act together and get at least on speaking terms again, because the case is clearly very serious. This is gunplay in the streets of Toronto, and something has to be done about it. And there is a sad history, as you well know, of this being a dialogue of the deaf between Canada and India, where India says, okay, we've designated this guy a terrorist. The Canadians say, well, okay, where's the evidence? We've got to see the details. You can't just just say he's designated a terrorist. You've got to give us evidence that will stand up in a Canadian court. And there have been occasions, believe me, when India has failed to meet that requirement. And now it appears that India has responded with the details required by Canada, and that Canada is indeed considering an extradition. Now, if that extradition goes forward, this will be a big improvement in relations. This will might become a sign that we can find a way out of this mess between the two countries. We have, as I say, this very long and sad history, and it's not all one-sided. It's not a story of Canada just always closing its eyes. We have a different legal system. We do require, and by the way, Trudeau doesn't run it. Trudeau's not the king of Canada. He doesn't run individual courtrooms. He doesn't run the justice system. He doesn't decide anything about extraditions. He's not allowed to decide such things. Politicians don't give orders to police officers in Canada. So, if indeed the process unfolds as it should, and India provides compelling evidence that will convince a Canadian court that this guy must be exported, must be deported, I should say, then we can move forward on a lot of other cases,
right.
because
but
there are more than 20 other cases, are there not, where
Absolutely.
Canada is dragging its feet.
Major General A.K. Sivach, as Terry has been highlighting, 26, in fact, pending extradition requests, as has already been shared by the MEA earlier. Major General Sivach, I'd like to bring you in on the fact that, the Ontario court has set directives that there will be no electronic transmission, even publication of the trial proceedings. Is this not shielding Ashdallah, or in fact, what are the chances that he may just be deported? Because if here's the trial that's happening of one of the most wanted men in India, why not let the trial be published, even if you don't wish to have it broadcast?
Yeah, very correct, Akansha. The chances of his deported back to India seemingly looks to be less. Because in case if the Canada has to do it, remember that very rightly brought out by you, there are about 30-40 cases wherein we have given evidence, we have given dossier, we have shared all the information with the Canadian government, but they have not acted. In fact, today the biggest problem between relation between India and Canada is the space they are giving to Khalistani terrorists there. And they are staying there and they are doing criminal activities in India. As far as Hardeep Singh Nijjar was concerned, they have blown the case out of proportion, whereas he was possibly been eliminated by the gang war, maybe a Lawrence Bishroi, the way Saktul Singh has happened. But the point is, Ashdallah, we have provided all the information to the government of Canada, and the Canadian government is not taking action on that. They are only taking action on the crimes which he has committed in Canada. And now what they are doing is they are not publishing anything. They are not showing his basically trial in the court. It means the intention of Canada is doubtful. That are they really serious in basically sending the Khalistani terrorists? Because as far as this Ashdallah is concerned, he's a proclaimed offender. There are 50 cases against him in India for murder, attempt to murder, money laundering and terrorist funding. But no action has been taken by the Canadian government. We have provided enough evidence as per the mutual legal assistance treaty which is there between both the countries. But the Canadian government has refused to accept it. The point is they keep on giving a flimsy excuse of not deporting him back. But it is a serious case. If the Canadian government is very serious, the relationship between India and Canada to improve, and they want to take action against terrorism, then this is an ideal case of Ashdallah should be deported back to India because he's a proclaimed offender and he's been declared terrorist by Indian government.
Man's cooking.
Spoken about how he is a proclaimed offender. He's a terrorist, one of the most wanted men in India. But
that on its own is pretty crazy. The fact that Canada is harboring in one of India's most wanted people, like Justin Trudeau says, that Canada has a good relationship with India, that Canada like recognizes India as the largest democracy in the world. Trudeau is going around trying to say that we're good with India, man. All is good. Yet you find us in the situation, like, what if Canada's most wanted individuals, what if like the most horrible piece of crap, most wanted, top 10 most wanted people in Canada, what if they were hiding in India? Wouldn't it make sense for, if the goal is to put them in jail and not 6 feet under, then wouldn't it make sense for us to say, hey, India, you know where this person is, obviously living in India, especially if it's within police custody, can we have him back? Because deserves time here in our jail, not going through your judicial process, most wanted here in Canada. I mean, that just kind of makes sense. Like, work with the other country, especially if you have good relations with that country. But Canada, for some reason, doesn't care about that. We don't care about that. Justin Trudeau doesn't care about that. And I hope that, Pierre Poilievre and the Conservative government can actually fix this like broken relationship with India at some point.
Having said that, let me now come down to the extradition treaty of 1987 between India and Canada. Only 6 fugitives have been sent back from the year 2002 to 2020. Does that not go on to indicate that this treaty has become a sort of white tiger for Canada?
Unfortunately, Canada adopts different standards when it comes to India. If a Western country asks Canada to extradite a criminal, Canada's approach is definitely more forthcoming. We have seen that in case after case. And this is the unfortunate part about it, because this problem about Khalistani militancy goes back to the 1980s. And we've seen how Canada has refused to clean up its act. That's the root cause of Canada-India tensions. It's not nature, it's not Hashtala that are at the root of the Canada-India tensions. It's the fact that Canada has become the global hub of the Khalistan movement. Now, under international law as well as Canadian law, it's a criminal activity if somebody makes a terrorist threat from Canadian soil. Canadian law deems that to be a crime. And yet we have seen in so many cases where people residing in Canada have been making terrorist threats against India at regular intervals without any action being taken against them. But I think what's new now is that India has shifted its strategy. In the 1980s, after the Air India bombing, India did not exert any pressure on Canada to come clean. But now we have seen how India is spotlighting individual cases in Canada of elements who are involved in terrorist activity and not being brought to justice. For example, 2 days ago, the Ministry of External Affairs in New Delhi highlighted the case of Harsh Talla. Now, this is an attempt to shame Canada into acting against these individuals. If you don't exert pressure, if you don't try to shame Canada, Canada will not act against these individuals. And I think this is a good approach of spotlighting individual cases of suspected or actual terrorists who are being sheltered in Canada.
All right. I'm going to take that forward with Mr. Vora. Mr. Vora, do you think that sort of strategy...
So that's their goal. That's India's goal, is to shame Canada until Canada finally starts to fix a lot of its problems. I don't know what the heck, man, Justin Trudeau's long-term plan is, but he is burning bridges left, right, and center. And we're about to deal with Trump 2.0 here. And look, I've come out of the closet and I've said I'm a Trump fan. I like and appreciate Trump's approach to politics. He's not a politician, yet he's already been president. He's about to be president again. I think it's phenomenal. I think what the guy's doing, he just speaks his mind, very relatable, doesn't talk in non-answers, just a great force, and building an Avenger force. And I've actually lost subscribers. I've gained significantly more since I've shared this, but once upon a time, I did lose subscribers not too long ago because I said that I was in support of Trump, and you had people here in Canada that don't like Justin Trudeau, that are conservatives, that unsubscribe from me because they didn't like the fact that I was pro-Trump, which it is what it is. But anyways, moving on. I think that Justin Trudeau's relationship with India, it hasn't been good, and I don't think he's the guy to fix it. Justin Trudeau's relationship with America has been quite liberal and progressive with Joe Biden, will not be good with Donald Trump. Trump will not tolerate the progressive woke approach that Justin Trudeau brings to the table. And professionals, analysts are calling for the only way that Canada can move forward in a positive direction under Trump 2.0 is with a snap election. Let's get that done before Trump takes office, before America goes back to being a superpower, so that we don't have a cuck who's dealing with Donald Trump for 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, and then we do that natural switch to a conservative government. Let's just get it done with right now. But that's my own personal opinion. I would absolutely love to know yours. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd like to remind you guys to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.